How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to Going Rogue. I'm Ryan, and the star of the show, Yami, she's right over there. Anyways, we're coming to you from beautiful Utah. I keep getting a lot of questions and comments about the truck and things I've done to it. So I figure what better time than to do a walk around video of the truck right now. This is my 2010 GMC Sierra Overland build. This truck has about 220,000 miles on it. I've had it for quite some time. It's been a great truck to me. And I know there's a billion of them out there, but you never see them on the trails. And I don't know of anybody else doing this with this kind of a truck. But I think it happens to be a pretty good option if this is what you got and you don't have the money to go run out and go buy some brand new Gladiator or something. The best overland vehicle is the one that you have, and this one seems to be working just fine. It's been through a lot of hard trails. I've been through all of the passes in Colorado, Mineral Creek, Engineer Pass, which you can see on one of my other videos, the Badlands, the Black Hills, Fins and Things we just ran yesterday. It's a capable off-road vehicle. It really is. I don't care what anybody says. If you know how to drive, it'll get you there. But like I said, I know there's a million of these out there. I don't see anybody doing it, and maybe people just need a few ideas or a little inspiration on what they can do because they want to go out there and go see these beautiful places. And they feel that you have to have a Gladiator or Tacoma to do it, and you don't. You know, you can make do with what you got, and I can show you how to do that. Like I said, this is my 2010 GMC Sierra. It's got a stock 5.3 besides the tune and cold air intake. Other than that, it's pretty much stock. The trans is been built up. I don't know what wizardry in there that trans guys do, but it's been beefed up specifically for overlanding and off-roading. It didn't go bad. I just decided that after 200,000 miles it was probably a good idea because it owed me nothing at that kind of mileage. So I had that done. As you can not miss, the truck has been wrapped in vivid satin chrome blue. I did that myself. As far as wheel and tires, these are the Method 305s in a 17-inch, and they're wrapped in Nitto Ridge Grapplers, which are 305 70 R17. Those will fit. I can turn this to full lock with it all the way tucked up in there, and it just barely touches one of these screws for the mud flap. I did have to do some cutting. You got to remove the windshield washer bottle, but you can get them to fit if that's what you want. As far as front suspension goes, I have Fox 2.0s. Those are all around the truck. That was a great addition. Really helps the ride quality. If you had stock shocks, you're going to get beat up on the trail. You really will. They don't have the rebound dampening that you need for doing this kind of stuff. I would highly recommend that as an upgrade, or put that at the top of your priority list if this is what you want to build. I also have the Rough Country forged aluminum control arms, upper control arms, and along with the Mevotech TTX lower control arms. Both of them are beefed up a better part, and not really a whole lot more than, you know, going and getting the stuff off the shelf at O'Reilly. I also have the Pacific Performance Engineering tie rod kit, HD tie rod kit. That is another high priority or thing I'd put on your top of your priority list to upgrade. The factory ones are puny and they don't belong anywhere near a full-size truck like this, and these are considerably bigger than the factory ones. I also added a limit strap in there instead of the factory limit stop, because all that wants to do is rip apart your upper ball joints. I don't care which ones you have. Until you remove that factory stop and you go to full droop, it just wants to literally rip out the the upper ball joint. Also back in there is the, I added high articulation CV shafts. And oh, I forgot to mention, I also have drilled and slotted rotors. I used to have problems with going down the big mountain hills. The brakes would start to shudder because they'd get so hot after a while. I've put those in there and that solved that problem. They weren't that much, but a definite upgrade. I think that's it for the front suspension. As far as rear suspension, I've got the Zone Off-Road Add-A-Leaf kit. Of course, the Fox 2.0s. A U-boat conversion kit to get rid of that big square steel plate that they put in there that likes to get caught on every root and rock and drug through the mud. I got rid of those, and now it's just a plain U-bolt. There's a slightly bigger axle block, maybe a ½ inch bigger. It was more or less just to correct the pinion angle. It's one of the angled ones to keep my drive shaft straighter. And that's about it as far as the rear suspension goes. The outside of the vehicle, or body or trail gear, I have cut this front factory bumper, added some light pockets, like I said, shaved it down, and then I added this front skid plate, which is like 5/16 aluminum, along with their skid plates all the way back to the gas tank. So this truck's well protected on the bottom side, which you should be doing. Your breakover angle in a vehicle this long is not good, so you're gonna want to protect those vital parts that you have underneath there. Tucked behind that front skid plate is a Badlands 12,000-pound winch. I had to custom make the mount for that to fit it up in there because it's shoehorned up in there. I can also make another video on that of how to make it and where to put it, because these trucks are pretty much the same between 08 and 18 as far as the chassis goes. I haven't really looked at the new ones, but I know from 08 to 18 they're pretty much the same. Moving right back, of course we have ditch lights, because you're not a real overlander if you don't have ditch lights. I custom made these rock sliders off or from some 2x4 steel, and as well with the rear bumper. I also made that and chopped the rear fender off to give me a better descent angle, because being out here in Utah and Moab, I figured I may not have a choice of how the bumper gets removed, and I was right. There's a couple times in this past week that they definitely would have been laying on the side of the trail. Also in the rear, I have covering the rear differential, I have it's the Purple Cranium Designs Spider differential guard. It's a mouthful. Check them out, Purple Cranium. They're out of Howell, Michigan. I think they make a badass product. It's like 1/2 inch or 5/8 steel rod. And if that's not going to protect your diff, then you're probably getting a little too silly then. I would get something to protect your rear differential before you cave it in backing up by accident. So, and then in the back we also have the DV8 bed rack system. It's made for a Gladiator or a Tacoma. I had to just make the crossbars myself. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it will fit. I think it looks good, it fits good, and it works. And it did what I wanted. I wanted to keep that tent below the roof line for aerodynamics. I'm not a big aerodynamics guy, but driving thousands of miles on these trips, your aerodynamics definitely adds to your gas bill. So that was something I was concerned with. And on the bed rack as well, we always also, of course, have the proper overlander tools, shovels, axe, and then the traction boards go on the other side. You're gonna take my word for it because I'm about to camp up for the night. I got her sitting level, so why don't I move you to the interior and show you what I've done there. Okay, as far as interior stuff, I guess I could show you, since we are camping, just how I pack the truck out and what do I have in here when I'm camping. Maybe I'll give somebody an idea or something. If not, oh well. Anyways, we have some molly panels up top here. You're probably not an Overlander if you don't have some sort of molly. No, I'm joking. And then right here I keep my winch controller. I added these. This is a handy thing to have, are these little bubble levels you can put. This helps me for when I pull up at camp. I don't have to get out and look 15 times about if I'm level or not. I just can look at there real quick and bam, I know I'm good. So I would, for $5, that'll save you a headache. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot done to the interior. I got my GoPro mount, iPad mount for navigating, and my other GoPro stuff down there on the other side. Nothing too big. In the rear, I'm in the back seat here. This riser I made, obviously that is Yami's bed, and that also gives me a whole lot more room for my gear and things. Got a little light here too, so I can find stuff. Back in here, got a little bungee cord thing that holds up. There's like a little bit of a, it rises up a couple times right here. So back here I got jumper cables, and I kind of tucked my sandals back there and stuff with that bungee cord. And then I'll save that for the other side. But not much over there. Oh, forgot I added this shelf to the ceiling up here. I made that. I took out the handles and used that for a bracket location. And this piece of metal is from, it's some heavy duty flashing I took from work. Added this bungee cord here. And now this is a good spot to keep my coats and pillows or towels, some light stuff, but it stays up here, out of the way, easy to reach though, and helps keep the cabin organized. Which, if you're out on long trips like I am, a couple weeks at a time, staying organized is a big deal. If you get all unorganized, or you have to dig through stuff or remove a whole bunch of things just to get at what you want, it ends up just wearing on you and being annoying, and then you end up just not even wanting it anymore, and at that point you're going to wear yourself out pretty quick. On this side, of course, I have some first aid kit, tourniquet. Here is my pantry. The top, it's a little disheveled at this point in the trip, but I keep my seasonings and things like that up in the top shelf here. Coffee, Ziploc bags, that kind of stuff. In the bottom one, I keep my cans and, you know, bigger items in the bottom one. There is some bread in there today, but yeah, that's what I put there. Behind here is my auxiliary power system. I'll put a better picture of it up on the screen, but I have the 25 amp Atom power charger, their shunt, I guess Jupiter inverter, and it has a 50 amp hour battery, a lithium ion battery right here. And as well, I forgot to mention, I made this riser on this side as well. Here's my computer that I have plugged in to the Bluetti. I have right there. I have the inverter charges the Bluetti, and then I have the Bluetti charge all my other little accessories that I need charged. That way I try to keep some of the load off of the alternator. Okay, now as far as the rear of the truck, how I pack out the rear, let me show you. I don't know, maybe it'll give somebody an idea how to set up theirs or not. I don't know. Anyways, fire extinguisher, bring a fire extinguisher. I don't know what the fines or penalties will be if you set the national forest on fire, but I can't imagine it'd be good. You'll probably thank yourself if you just put one in there. Tucked up in the front, it's like the front wheel well. Up front there's a gas can. Got my air hose for my compressor. Big long dog leash right here. With this bungee cord right here, I have a little tarp. So if it's wet out when we're camping, I can put that down and it'll keep my little rug clean and give Yami a clean spot to lay. Obviously cooler. In front of the cooler is like just a plastic Home Depot type bin that I keep my porta potty in, more tools in, and I think some like WD-40 and stuff like that I keep up in there. The spare tire, obviously. I put most of my recovery gear up in there. It fits. And then up front there, I also have a propane tank that I made the mount for. I could show you how to do it, but it's just a piece of 1/4-inch aluminum that's bent with, you know, an L. I drilled some holes in it to make it kind of look like dimple dives, but I made that. And having a big can of propane instead of dealing with all them little 1-pound bottles is a nice upgrade. And to go with the propane tank, I added this. I think it was a 8-foot hose or a 10-foot hose, but I can pull that right out and plug this right into my stove, and yeah, you're cooking with gas right away. And the diesel tank obviously is for the diesel heater that I made, and I'm gonna make a more in-depth video on this diesel heater because a lot of people want to know about this. Yeah, I stashed my wood there. You put that wherever you want. I made this box or fake deck system, whatever, out of just some wood. Not only just to be cheap, but if I bought the deck system, I can't fit my cooler in there. There wasn't enough room. I did the measurements and it just wasn't going to work. But this works out. It was $50 in wood, a little gate latch, a little pull handle I made, and there you go. Right here, I have a easy up awning right there, and I have these bins. These are under the bed storage bins, and these have seemed to work out great. I can lock them, keep all my stuff. And this side, I got my little camp rug. I got, you know, some lights, TP, garbage bags, more lights, batteries, you know, citronella, that kind of stuff in that one. On this side, I have all my cooking stuff. I got my stove, my cowboy cooker thing, jet boil, pots, pans, that kind of stuff. So that's everything for my cooking. In front of there, I have another one of these bins. Well, it's a smaller one, still made by Sterilite. I keep this one extra hook from my tent just kind of tucked in the side there so I can reach them. But this has zip ties and light bulbs and tire kit and some spare diesel heater parts and more zip ties and some pieces of hose and just stuff, odds and ends that I might need. That slides up there, and this slides right above it. And yeah, it works out for me really good. It works really good for me. Over everything as far as how I pack out the truck. So the next thing I guess I can show you is maybe some of the things that I've made for actually camping. Or as far as camp mode, I guess there's really not a whole lot to talk about here. Once again, the point of this video is hopefully give some people ideas and inspiration on what they could do, and you know just things they could make. And because as we all know, or if you don't know yet, you will find out that the overland tax is a real thing. And I think being resourceful and creative is the way to kind of get around that, because there's a lot of things out there that I just don't see the value in what they're selling. I guess the first thing that comes to mind would be I'm not going to say the brand name, but it's a $200-300 lantern on a stick. It's a lantern on a stick. You know, they've been making extendo poles for a long time and lanterns for a long time, you know. So here's my workaround for that. This is a $10 paint stick, broomstick that you can get at any Home Depot, 10 bucks. Lantern of your choice, and a little flag mount that you'd normally hang American flag on the side of your house with. Screw that into the bed or anchor, however you want. Bam, now I have a $30 lantern on a stick, and it lights up the area just as good. I can't see that the other one's $200 better. Other than that, I mean, you already saw I have a Tapway tent. If you're getting into overlanding and you're looking at you know, the rooftop tents, and you're like shocked by the sticker price, and I get it, I really do. It's a lot of money for a tent, but I will say when I bought this tent that it is and I always hated tents. I grew up racing dirt bikes, and being at the racetrack, you can't sleep in a tent. You can't. But when I got into this, I ended up just ponying up. I bought this tent. I found it, it was slightly used on Facebook Marketplace. And I tell you what, it's a game changer. When you're setting up and tearing down tent or camp every day, being able to just quickly pop it up and have a mattress, and it's big inside there. It's just efficient, and it's quick, and it will save you a lot of headache. And they're way better built than just a standard tent. This is like heavy duty. It's like some sort of nylon canvas or something, but it's made to be able to be taken down and put up 400 times before you start getting tears in it and stuff. And it's worked great. I've been on, I don't know, a dozen trips already with it, and it doesn't look any different than it did when I first got it. And I gotta say, it was a game changer. The mattress alone, being above the ground, all those things add up to making it worth it for me. If I were to get into this again, that'd be definitely one of the first things I'd buy is a rooftop tent. It makes a big difference, I will say that. Other than that, the only thing really I wanted to show you is my diesel heater setup. This is just a quick video on it. I'm gonna make, if you want, or if somebody wants one, a better video on it. But here's my diesel heater. I made this out of a waterproof box from Harbor Freight. I mounted everything in there, as you can see. The pipe, the hose, the actual vent, control box. Everything fits inside here. The only thing that doesn't go in there would be the tank, and the tank's connected to it's a quick connect, quick disconnect little fitting that plugs in there, and I have one little wing nut that holds it into one of the holes on my rack. So I pull this out, I put that one wing nut on, I pull all the stuff out of here, attach it, slide the tube up in there, plug the gas tank into there, and I'm ready to go. And I'll tell you what, this is the second thing that I highly recommend you buying if you're going to get into overlanding, is a diesel heater. This thing is another game changer. Being able to be wherever I am, and I'm perfectly comfortable inside my tent. I set up my computer and watch movies, and I can be sitting up there in my underwear, and it's 80 degrees out when it's 25 outside. They're super efficient. It barely steps any fuel. This, I think it's 2.5 gallon tank, probably lasts you a week. And I mean, I did it once with a Mr. Buddy heater, and I'll tell you what, just by the time you started getting warm, the tank would run out, and then you'd have to wake back up, change the tank. The tent's already cold again, so then you gotta rebundle up, wait for it to get warm, and it was just a never-ending cycle. It was miserable. Having this diesel heater should be high on your list as well. And like I said, I'll make a video. I'll explain on how to build it. I can give anybody of you that leave a comment or contact me, I can help print these parts for you. I printed all these myself, assembled it all myself, because I did see, again, with the Overland tax, there's one out there that they come ready to go in the case, but everything that was on the case, like all the parts, the vents and everything of the case, for $1,300, they literally took it out of one of the diesel heater kits that you get with the little plastic vent and the air filter and stuff, and all they did was just attach it to a case. They didn't make anything different really, and for $1,300 I find it ridiculous, and it looks like garbage as far as I'm concerned. So I think this one looks a lot better. It works the same if not better, and everything fits inside of it. I don't have to have another box full of stuff other than the tank, which you could get a smaller tank and just mount it to the side here. It's awesome. I love it. And it's definitely made my experience of living outside just that much better. You definitely want a heater. Even if it's not that cold outside, it's still colder than you'd like it to be. And if you can crawl up into your tent, like I can pull up and fire this right up and let it run till the next day, and my tent's warm. I'll go on a hike, come back, and tent's warm. I don't have to worry about fuel. It sips fuel, it sips electricity. It runs at like, I'd say somewhere between like 5 and 10 watts, depending on how high you have it turned up. But this is a big game changer. I would say that's about all I got for you as far as the walk around. I will mention some future plans for this truck. I want 37s. I want 1-ton axles or 14 bolt in the rear, and I'd like to put a 2500 front axle in the front of this. If any of you have any experience or knowledge about that, and if I can do it or how hard it is or what do I got to change to fit a 2500 front axle, I'd like to know. Leave me a comment and I'll get in touch with you again. So yeah, 37s, the 1-ton axles are, beefier axles. Probably a long travel kit for the front of this truck I'm looking at. And I would like some King or Fox 2.5s all around it. I want to put limit straps on the rear of the truck. And because right now I've about maxed out my brake lines. The brake lines definitely need to be extended, but I've got them bent in a way that where I can just manage letting the truck flex out with it, not ripping them out, but it's close. So it's something I need to take a look at. And I'd like to remake all my bumpers. I'd like to do some tube work and make a front tube bumper, rear tube bumper, and some tube rock sliders. I just think tubing looks cooler, and I think it'll match my bed rack. I think it'll all just look like tubing, and it'll just look better. So that's something I've got planned for it. Oh, and a 6.2 liter. I want a new motor. Like I said, it's got 220 on it. She's done good for me, but I probably should do something before something happens in the middle of a trip and ruins that. So other than that, I hope that this gives somebody some inspiration or an idea on how to set up or build their truck, and I hope to see you out on the trail. Thanks for watching Going Rogue.